Hello and welcome to the Cheap Chumps podcast episode. I don't remember. That makes me one really bad host. I think this is episode 7, right?
Yep.
All right, episode 7. Uh, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Get introductions done and out of the way because we have a lot of things to talk about today. It's me, your boy Marty. You've heard me once. You'll hear me almost every time. And to my virtual right this time, it's my main man. Starts with the J. You know who you are.
Who?
Okay. This
Oh,
is why.
it's your boy George. I'm making some tacos. If you're curious.
All right. And to his right,
It is me. And you said you went to Taco Bell. How did
No,
you make tacos if you went to Taco Bell?
no, I went to Tacos Jalisco's. That's like a local place.
we're not
All right.
sponsored, but
That's a little better. That's better.
we're not sponsored by you TJs. But if you would like to,
Dude,
it'd be
I
cool.
I would I would love it, but it's just
Oh, hey, by the way, it's me, Ernie. It's a me, Ernie.
There we go. It's a him, Ernie. And today we're coming at you on the recording date of October 22nd. And DC Fandom was a week ago. Apex Legends is coming out with their new season. We're hearing some nice little rumors in terms of the Splinter Cell community and, well, that whole side of things. And let's just get right into it. Starting out small, and it's kind of ironic. Stardew Valley creator I'm gonna get his name wrong. Eric something. Just came out with a new game. He's known by Concerned Ape, but I know his name is Eric, and don't ask me why I know that. Just released a quote unquote follow up to Stardew Valley called Haunted Chocolatier. And Stardew Valley is a game that has been out for like 10 years and then some. And for those who've never played, let me ask real fast, George, Ernie, have either of you played Stardew Valley?
I have.
nope.
You have?
Mhm.
Oh, well, I never actually would have thought you
I,
didn't
I
like.
think I
You would've-
briefly watched someone play it once, but not that much.
Well, I remember I was reading his blog, and I'll just kind of give you the synopsis or the TLDR of it. Is that this time he wanted to think outside the box, and he thought like, well, people like chocolate, and while he himself said he felt kind of constrained about Stardew's Valley like production cycle as it's been because it's Stardew Valley. It follows a certain line, and he can only think that way. That he thought in releasing a new game, which actually he himself has said has some action RPG elements, which is odd because Stardew Valley isn't it just you just vibe, you just farm and you talk to people? Isn't that all that is?
No, you can go to a mine and kill some ghosts and get rocks and sell rocks and you level up and you get more gear for better mining and for better monster slaying. So there I mean you level up, you get better gear.
Quick question. He's the only person who works on it, right? Like he doesn't have a team,
Uh,
or
he might have a team. I don't know. Some you would have to look that up. Like I
all right.
genuinely don't know if it's just this one guy. Eric Barone. So I was right, I think, or did I say Baron?
You didn't? You said Eric something.
Eric Barone. That's the name of the creator. Yeah, apparently it just right here. I'm reading it under the FAQ. Who's making this game? Haunted Chocolatier is being developed by Eric Barone, aka Concerned Ape, the creator of Stardew Valley. I will, and then later it says I will also be self-publishing this game. So yeah, he's been working on it alone, which is actually kind of in what's I was about to say inventive. What's the word? Not interesting. Someone help me out here.
Amazing.
Impressive, amazing too. Impressive and amazing that he was doing this all by himself. I thought like he had a small indie team at least.
No, to my knowledge, he made this game to himself and just released it and sold a bazillion copies.
Huh.
Oh, looking into it, yes, it said he has worked out by himself only, and I don't see anything about him getting people to help, like with updates and stuff. So I think he's the only one.
Yes. So anyway, yeah. So Haunted Chocolatier, he says it here. It's the core gameplay and theming are quite a bit different. More of an action RPG compared to Stardew Valley. And instead of a farm, the focal point is it's a chocolate shop. So you're running a chocolate shop.
So you're Willy
And
Wonka.
sure. And that's about all I can say about that. Congrats on him to releasing it. I don't think he had any kind of sign of just like, hey, this is gonna come out. The only thing that I can say is that it has no multiplayer, which is fine because did Stardew Valley have? I thought it did have multiplayer.
At the start, I don't think so. I think it currently does, but I think it was like a thing added over time, like an update.
No. Well, the only
Well,
platform he's certain about is PC. Congrats to you, Eric Brown. You don't need me to tell you that, but I'm sure a lot of people enjoy your game. Moving on, the Uncharted trailer officially dropped, and has either of you seen it? And in fact,
Yes.
before we continue,
Mhm.
everyone right now at home listening, go watch it so that way the context can be a little better. But I watched it. Reminder: I never played Uncharted. I know it's all part of that. Marty likes video games but doesn't play games. Come on, man. I thought it looked kind of all right. It kind of gave me like a weird James Bond feel, and that might be insulting to Uncharted fans. I don't know,
Um,
but
think
I
of
don't.
it. Think of it more like Indiana Jones-ish. Kind of cross a little bit with Tomb Raider.
Maybe, but it's also Tom Holland's voice. Or like he was using his Peter Parker voice. So like I don't know, just something about it. Just I don't know anything about Nathan Drake, but I figured he was like a more like collected man, not exactly calm, but like he knew what he was doing. And with Tom,
Uh,
it kind of sounds like he doesn't entirely know what he's doing.
well, from what I looked up, this is like an adventure before the events of Uncharted 1, so this is like a really young Nathan Drake, which would make sense. And honestly, looking at the trailer, like Tom Holland definitely, I think he pulls off like a young Nathan Drake look.
I was gonna say when he was wearing the iconic shirt and like pit holsters. I don't know what you want to call them.
The gun
He looked
holsters.
he looked a lot like Nathan Drake, so good on him there.
Yeah,
But
like I said, like
that's
a young Nathan Drake.
yeah, he looked good. He looked good. I will say that the movie looks all right. It doesn't look like it'll be amazing. The one choreographed fight scene we were able to get a sneak peek on, he did like this really cool butt move. Um, so yeah, I was just staring at his butt. But I don't know. Tom Holland, I'm a fan of his. I like his work mostly just from Spider Man. I know he's been in other things. I definitely am aware, but I know him as Peter Parker, so it'll be interesting to see him as something else. But George, you're a longtime Uncharted fan. Give me your full
Yeah.
thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking.
Uh, Well, I think it. I mean, doesn't look like a bad movie, but then again, I can't say if it's gonna be good or bad because I haven't watched it yet. Once it comes out, I'll probably have my full thoughts on it then. But for now, I think it looks good. And then Mark Wahlberg as Sully.
Oh,
Uh,
I forgot he's in it.
yeah, you got good old Marky Mark. He it's just weird. It's just weird not seeing like the design for Sully because Sully looks a lot different if you ever see him in the game. But I think Mark Wahlberg
That's
fits
exactly. We were
fits like
watching the trailer.
a younger Sully, I guess. Yeah.
We were watching the trailer, and that's exactly what George said. Was that he looks not like he was surprised that Mark Wahlberg was playing Sully. To me, it's just Mark Wahlberg, and that's all I could really say. The last thing I'll add is that this is going to be exclusive to cinemas. Ernie, anything else on Uncharted? I think you've played it, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. In the movie trailer, when he's hanging from the plane, why doesn't he just shoot web and get back on the plane? I don't get
Oh
it.
my! Which, by the way, no, I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like he should have broke a couple bones after like tumbling on all those boxes at that velocity. There's a lot of it that doesn't make make any
Dude,
sense about it.
I mean,
But
there's a lot of things action movies don't make sense when you think
yeah,
about it.
the wind would have ripped his head off or killed. That's like 400 mile an
Or
hour
exactly,
wind. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, he
wait,
should
wait, wait,
like
wait.
at minimum have a couple broken bones.
Has it been long enough where I could say a thing about like the Black Widow movie because it's like a comparison I
Yeah,
could
so
make.
it's been like half a year. Oh,
Okay, so
here, spoiler warning. Oh,
yeah,
Black
quick
Widow. Anyway,
spoiler.
Where,
Yeah,
where,
quick spoiler
where?
if you actually cared. But anyway, you know how Black Widow, like near the end of the movie, when like the whole like sky base or the Red Room was crashing down, and then she was like falling in, and she keeps hitting stuff before it landing
oh
unscathed.
yeah, that should not have made sense.
Yeah, yeah, like no, she would have been dead. Like some
But
things you gotta have like a sense of disbelief, like
the idea is
in your
that
disbelief.
I'll give to Black Widow is that she has some super nano suit that lets her do it.
There you go.
As far as I know, Nathan Drake is just a dude, and that's the one thing. Either way,
Yeah,
it's dumb in both movies, but it
Uh,
looks
yeah,
good.
it's pretty campy, one would say.
Nathan Drake is a mass murderer of people of color.
I agree,
Uh,
guy.
he kills people not by choice, but because they're shooting at him back
How
based
many
on the
people?
villains.
When you play in Uncharted, how many people has he killed?
Okay, I never played the first one. I started on two. I played two, three, four. Yeah, he's killed a lot of people, but to be fair, they started.
Okay, self defense. I like
Yeah,
it. I beat 1 and I have 2, 3, and 4, and I don't know. They're just not for me. They're great games. I'm glad Sony makes them.
I would say if I was ranking the games, they all feel cinematic. So Uncharted as a movie makes sense. There's also like the whole puzzle like solving part, when you get to those parts in each of the games, which reminds you of either Indiana Jones or like Tomb Raider. So again, it works well for cinema. So I think Uncharted movie could be pretty good. Although they kind of spoil something that in the trailer briefly. Now here's a really slight spoiler warning if you never played Uncharted 4. There's like a sense where he talked about like his brother, and when you start playing the games, you never knew he had a brother until 4. But that's kind of a thing, but it's addressed like very early in the game. So there's that. And I think it changes slightly how him and Sully met, because in the flashback from 4, again, really slight spoiler, but this happens like again very early in the game. Um, it shows him like a little bit, like lot younger. Like he's probably more of a teenager. In this film, it looks like he's about like in his like really early 20s.
I'm
So
all encompassed as a teenager, and you're assuming a lot about a movie that hasn't come out just quite
yeah,
yet.
so listen, I'm just assuming a lot. Maybe
So
he is actually younger. Because if they're saying, oh, he's 17, like okay, but if I remember from that flashback, like from the fourth game, I think it was like 10 or 11. But
all right. Well,
anyways, semantics aside, I think I'll probably give it a good chance.
all right. Well, you got George's approval, Ubisoft. For me, it's a movie coming out. Hope it's as good as Sonic. I don't know,
Wait,
and
wait. Why does Ubisoft care that they have George's approval?
I don't know. They just do. I'm just naming a company. I know it's not even Ubisoft, but they're the
It's
first.
Not
Sony.
Naughty Dog. It's a Naughty Dog
Nah,
who has
Naughty
authority
Dog.
for
It
Ubisoft.
was the first company that came to my head. I'm like,
You
I
hear
was
that,
gonna say, why
Shell?
Ubisoft?
yeah, yeah. It was just like, good job. For me, it literally just is like it's someone probably said something to me on along the same lines of like Sonic or Sega or like hope Nintendo does good with it. Like, yeah, me
I
too.
mean, if you want that Uncharted movie experience, just watch people play the games because it's like while you're watching a movie anyway. So
Yeah, but
especially
then
the
like
second one. Second one's still the best, in my
yeah,
opinion.
but then shooting guns. Anyway, moving on. Here's another one that's like felt like only a movie or a show is coming out, but there's no gameplay. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. That's the full title of the game, by the way. Announced. You're not gonna believe this because if either of you or anybody thinks this was announced during the DC Fandome like a week ago, no, this was announced. This game I found out was announced a year ago, like a little over a year ago.
I completely forgot, or am I missing?
I didn't know. Like I looked it up because I was like, first of all, let's just to stay on slightly on point. I was watching the trailer. I was like, this is cool. This feels like it could be a show or a movie though, because they're like, there's no gameplay. But I was like, all right, it's one story trailer for Fandom. I get the hype up. Let's go like try to find a gameplay trailer. And I found nothing and found that like another story trailer came out a year ago. So what is the game? What is the game? I know the idea of the story is that you're killing the Justice League. Superman's evil. They're all messed up or something, and you are playing the Suicide Squad, and you got to kill Justice League. That's all I got. And there's some funny quips.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. It really isn't the.
Yeah. So I'm asking you, DC. I'm asking you right now, Warner Brother Games. Where is it? I you've actually intrigued me with a DC storyline, and I don't hate DC, but like DC has always been more my brother thing. I've always been Marvel. We've stayed like that, and just DC is just whatever. They have some good stuff. They also have some bad movies. Let's all be honest, but you know,
Yeah,
So,
more live action animated. I think they're
so
good.
this game is being made by Rocksteady, and it was rumored like 2, 3 years ago. They're like, Rocksteady hasn't announced anything after Arkham Knight, which was an awful game, by the way. And anyways,
PC port release. It was actually pretty bad.
yeah, I had it on PC and I fell through the world. No, I had it on a PS4 and I fell through the world. And my friend worked at Best Buy and he said like, "Dude, you bought one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Cause they just made them they made us pull them off the shelves. Like we can't sell them." I'm like, "Oh,
I
that's
thought
not good."
I thought they only put it off of like Steam and like everyone on PC because I thought the console like discs were fine because
No,
I
well,
got it on console. Mine was fine
I fell through
at
the
this
world.
time.
I fell through I looked up and I saw I got them. I'm like,
Yeah,
"No, why are you
yeah, because I
going?"
saw stories mostly about at the time when it came out, like oh PC, like the port was so like terrible. It was so bad that they actually refunded people money, and then
Yeah,
they
it
took
was
the game
broken.
off.
So
But
so
that was
the
good.
okay, yeah, but Arkham, the first two games were fantastic, and then this one was just a shame. So then they were wondering, what are they doing? They didn't announce anything for years, and then they announced this. What Marty said a year ago?
Yeah, a year ago, and like maybe I just wasn't paying attention because it was DC, but like I didn't hear a lot of
Actually,
anything about it, and I thought it would have because of Arkham series and all that. But no, it just like here's a trailer. We'll
this is the first of me hearing that this is made by Rocksteady as well, because I knew about the other game that we're going to talk about that's being made by Rocksteady, but I know they were making this one too.
Yeah, no,
maybe,
this is the big game that they announced, and it was, dude, it was rumored for a long time. They're like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And they're like, oh, like in 2016, 2017, they're like, I heard they're making a Justice League game. It's other podcasts that I listen to.
Oh, actually,
So
I might
I
have
thought
heard
about
that.
I thought about this. I knew about this for a while, and then they announced it, and but there's still no gameplay. They announced it a year ago, and there's still no gameplay. That's what's concerning.
yeah,
Well, it's
there's
just
no
like
gameplay.
a story thing, just get you interested first. So
Yeah, but
Uh,
you do that, and then a year later you show us something. Don't wait a year and be
yeah,
like, hey, here's
yeah,
a little more story.
yeah, here's more story. Like
I
nothing changed.
I guess you could argue like since they're making two games, but then again, I don't know how big Rocksteady's studio is, so I can't comment. So
Yeah,
eh,
just that is just not a good practice in general. There's a bunch of examples. I can't think of any, but like games that show just story, almost exclusively story stuff, and not much gameplay. Like
Dead Island.
yeah, Dead Island is one. It instills a lot of like doubt. I don't want to say fear because people aren't panicking in the streets, but it just instills a lot of doubt about it, and it just kind of already goes like, you know, there's not gameplay doesn't seem so great, or they don't seem well with it, but they have this license and they know they're getting that DC money, so let's put something out there.
yeah,
It's
like
kind of yeah
like for the recent Suicide Squad movie, like the recent one was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously the first one that they did not
great.
so good.
That is great. I'm glad the movies are
Yeah.
doing good.
Although I'm still not sold on this game. Like I said, you need to see gameplay before I can make a decision if I want it or not. If not, I'll at least see people play it, and then I'll decide, yeah, maybe this would be worth picking up.
So if I'm not mistaken, they're fighting the same guy in the movie, Starro. That's why the Justice League is bad because they're mind controlled.
Oh wait, I guess
That
that's
was
a slight
Brainiac, but
spoiler.
I don't know anything.
No, not Brainiac. That star in the Justice League movie. So I think his name is Starro, isn't it?
I have no
Uh,
idea.
I guess this is a slight spoiler thing if you have not seen the Suicide Squad movie, but yeah, like that
He
giant
did the
starfish.
trailers.
George, these are all George,
Briefly.
these are movies that have had months. Like, you don't have to give spoiler warnings for everything that came out a few
I mean,
months
I
ago.
also forget like when these come out because it feels like for me it feels like oh I watched not too long ago, but then I'm like oh shit, it's been a couple months.
No, like unless it
Yeah.
came out just this week or even maybe 2 weeks ago, I did. It's fine. You know,
If it barely came out like in a year, I'll at least be like all right, here's a slight spoiler warning, but I'm
no, you
Okay,
okay.
got
but he was in the trailer, so no spoilers there because he is in the trailer, and he's not
Okay, yeah.
friendly. So they fight him.
Although looking at it, it's like a mecha thing, and I thought it's more with Brainiac because Brainiac can also mind control people if he infects them.
That's no, I don't know, but what I heard, I thought it was that's Starro. I thought they were controlled. I don't know.
It's either Star or Brainiac then, or whatever thinking mind control in the DC
we
universe.
won't know because the story trailers just doesn't tell us enough. I just know that Deathstroke's in it, and I think Deathstroke is pretty cool. But I mean, that's it. If we talk about it anymore, it's just speculation at this point.
I
So,
I don't think that is Deathstroke.
Late in the suicide kill the yes, that is
Wait,
Deathstroke.
is that him? I just
Deadshot.
yeah,
It composed of Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, King
yeah,
Shark.
Deadshot, because Deathstroke
Deathshot.
is also is known by Slade, but because Deathstroke is the guy with the one eye, but he's more like a mercenary with he's proficient with multiple weapons and melee. He's
All
a
right,
Okay,
then I was
so
wrong.
according to the Wikipedia, it is Brainiac.
There you go.
okay, because I saw something mechanical, and I'm like, I really isn't mechanical. He's more organic. That's why I thought it was Brainiac.
Yep.
Well, I at least got that part correct. So one and one for Marty right now. 1-1. I got
Yeah.
one character wrong, one
For
character.
everyone keeping score at home.
So just keep a track right now. I'm sure I'm gonna get this is gonna be worse
Well,
as I go along. But anyway, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Rocksteady. Have faith. I think Arkham Knight, not really, but your other games were great. And yeah, although to be fair, what was the name of the first Arkham? Just Arkham Asylum? I don't think it was just called.
It was
Uh,
Arkham Asylum. You're right.
okay, yeah, wasn't that the one that like blew up PS3s? That like the old fashioned PS3s?
No, nope. The second one did because it blew up mine.
Arkham
Yeah,
City.
yeah.
Oh,
Because
Arkham City. Yep.
because I have one. It blew up specifically the PS3s that were designed to be able to play PS2 games. Because I had one,
Yes.
I have one of those, and I just like always remind myself whenever I do like dust it off to play some PS2 game, like, hey, don't put Arkham City in this because it will blow it up.
actually, now that I think
So
about it, because I used to have the original PS3 as well, but then I upgraded, and I might have gotten Arkham City when I after I upgraded my PS3, so I never had that problem.
Good for
Or I
so
don't
you.
think I've heard of it.
it was, yeah, it was Arkham City, and I love Arkham Asylum so much, and I want to play Arkham City so bad. It so what it is it would make the original PlayStation so hot the solders would melt and they would break, and it would the PlayStation would just stop working. And I know this because it happened to mine. And I wanted to play that game so bad, I literally just started hacking at my PS3 and I broke it to get the disc out. And I'm sure there was an easier way to do it, but I didn't care. And then I just went and I bought another PS3 because I wanted to play that game so bad.
Oh yeah, that's still part of my favorite game that Rocksteady has made for Batman.
The things gamers will do, trust me.
Hmm.
Moving on, this is going to be more DC related stuff, but they've announced a whole slew of shows, talked about ones that have already been around.
Wait, real quick, I guess we might as well talk about the other game Rocksteady's making, the Gotham
Well, it,
Knight.
it,
Yes,
it's well, it's not Rocksteady. It's
I thought you said it was Rocksteady as well.
yeah, I know, I lied to you.
Ah,
Okay,
well,
so I'm 0 for 2 or whatever. It's WB Montreal.
oh,
mm,
nice.
WB Games of Montreal. They're the I believe, and I'm probably wrong again, but they're the ones that made Batman Origins.
I I guess I can quickly look this up. So
I don't know, but I'm gonna just go ahead and name a couple others before we talk about the game because I want to burst through these. Uh,
yeah,
the Batman, a movie that's been coming out with Robert Pattinson as the titular character. Titular
Titty,
doesn't
yeah,
sound right.
titty.
Titty as the titty character. Um, and I'm just gonna. After watching the trailer, here's what I saw. It's more of the same. It's just the Dark Knight, vengeance, edgy. Which is fine. There's nothing against that. It's kind of what a lot of people like about Batman. He's just this dark caped crusader. That's neat and all, but it doesn't make me want to watch the movie because like I already have the Christian Bale trilogy. Even Superman versus Batman was kind of some of that, where like he was all dark and I'm getting too old for this, and that movie was what it was. And I don't know. It just like it's just another DC movie to me. There's nothing about it that makes me want to go like as again big Marvel fan here. Makes me go I want to go watch it. So
uh, I would
that's all I can say.
say I'd say watch it because it's a different person portraying Batman, and you always want to see like if they can make a good portrayal or a bad portrayal. Like I don't know if you've ever seen like any of the older Batman like movies, but they each have their quirks. Some
See
better
now,
than others.
I don't want to be the guy who recommends it because what if it turns out being like the Andrew Garfield of Batman? It's like that's all I got to
Uh,
say. Ooh, mm.
I mean, you're not gonna be as bad as Jared Leto Joker. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. It might be bad,
Jared Leto was bad, but they at least brought him back in Justice League Director's Cut.
but me just being a big Batman fan, I think it doesn't look that bad. But then again, I don't know. I guess I have to think of the movie. Like, oh, you always have to have caution, I guess, with the DC movies, even
All
if
right,
you're a big fan.
all right, Ernie, what do you have to say?
Apparently, so Batman is the greatest detective. Right? That's how he's supposed to be, and
Hmm.
this movie's supposed to be more of a mystery, more of a detective story. So, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not going in with high hopes, and I don't think it's gonna be the worst. I'm just gonna go in there and all right, let's see what you got.
Yeah, like yeah, because Batman's supposed to be like the best detective, like in the DC universe, like with other like what was it like Professor Chimp, or is it Doctor Detective Chimp? It's like a super smart monkey that's like a detective up there. But yeah,
It-
DC is just weird as well as Marvel. But yeah, in films like you don't really see Batman like doing being a detective most of the time. Like sometimes you see him like analyze something particularly quick, but this one, I hope they play up the angle like, oh, he's supposed to be like a brilliant like detective. Kind of hope they go with that angle more.
Well, only time will tell. Another show that they revealed, and this one's interesting because of who's playing it. But to be fair, he played it in Suicide Squad 2 or whatever. Is Peacemaker, and I'm just gonna say one thing: the show's trying way too hard. I genuinely think it's trying way too hard to just like stand out, and
Well,
that's why I don't have high hopes for Peacemaker. That one guy who's like dressed in the ninja suit is like you can tell he's like trying really hard to be like a Deadpool of whatever he's in.
I actually don't know who he's supposed to be. Like I know a decent enough about DC, but I don't know like every single character. So I have no idea who he is.
I just think the show's trying too hard. For all that John Cena is, he's a decent actor. He's not great.
I liked him as Peacemaker. He played him
Eh,
good.
yeah, but then
Yeah,
like you got to remember,
but
he's Fred's dad in the Fred movie.
yeah, God damn, why you gotta say that? But more
I
importantly,
never watched it. I didn't know that.
is James Gunn attached to this at all?
They said like from the director of Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad 2, so like maybe. And James Gunn is done pretty well, but all things considered, he's not entirely like a he can't do wrong kind of person to me. And
Well, I mean,
Uh,
watching
he has a pretty good track record recently.
recently, yeah, and but it's just watching the teaser, it just feels like it's trying way too hard. It really is. Like
Mm.
I can't explain it. It's just that like the jokes are there, but they don't feel
oh,
natural.
uh,
They feel like they're like they've been told before, but in like they just slightly alter it in terms of like character tropes. You have the character tropes like there's your nerdy hacker guy, the main hero, some annoying sidekick, um, new intern type girl, and like the calm one who like keeps the group together. I noticed that in the tropes of the characters, and it's just like I've seen shows very similar to this. So and there was nothing about it that made it stand out.
yeah. There's
I don't think it'll flunk. I don't think it'll be horrible. And I'm sorry, like I'm again, DC fans are gonna hate me after this episode. If we lose a subscriber, that's on me. Uh,
We have
but
two.
we have 7.
Oh,
yeah.
So again, it's just like I'm I don't. There's nothing about it that just sticks out. It just like
Uh
it hits all the tropes and all the things it needs to hit, which is fine. But there's nothing that makes me want to like get HBO Max and watch it.
oh. Before I talk about about the for what I think about the series, real quick for you, Ernie. Yeah. James Gunn, he made this show and he did write it, but he's not directing it. But he's the showrunner technically.
Well, there you go.
And
okay. So yeah,
he
so
wrote this during the Suicide Squad movie, like the most recent one.
so that right there, that gives me confidence. At least be entertaining.
Yeah.
I liked all of James Gunn's stuff. Even outside the Marvel, I didn't see that Belko experiment, but I think I saw Slither. I thought Slither was fine. But anyways, I like his stuff, and maybe it'll land, maybe it won't. But he hasn't failed me yet.
Yeah.
That's
And plus when you look at like a comic book like show or movie, you always have to think like if because if you read comics or you know anything about superheroes, like they're pretty like campy or like just over exaggerate, stuff like that. And when these types of things like pop up, you always have to be like, oh, let's see how comic booky this movie is going to be, or like, oh, in real life this wouldn't happen, but in the comic book would make sense. So depends.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
yeah, that's all I
there
have.
you go. That's just our initial thoughts for now. Moving on to the next game, and again, there's been a bunch of things. I almost implore you go search out what was announced. You find what you like, what you don't. Um, but I gotta say the next thing, and I'm gonna get the game title wrong. But there's another game coming out alongside Suicide, or not alongside, but was announced
Mhm.
and might come around the same time. I really don't know because just
That
a
is
short trailer
2022 as
is
well.
Gotham Knights Court of Owls, something like that. I don't know.
I think it's just Gotham Knights.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's the core. It's following the core of Al's story from like the New 52, but it's mostly I think just called Gotham Knights.
I sure, man. I watched the trailer literally right before this. It looks cool. It does look interesting. It's very dark and drab, and it follows a group of heroes, vigilantes, whatever you want to call them, that a lot of people like. I never remember their names. I just know they were all mostly once Robins, and it looks fine, but
Yeah.
without gameplay, it's hard to sell me. Like stories, what it is,
Mm.
and
I
stories almost always gonna be there in 90% of video games. But
yeah.
I give this one more slack compared to Suicide Squad because at least this one I don't think was announced for a whole year. I might look it up and prove myself wrong, but I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. George, what do you have to say?
Yeah, like in terms of story, I think this one's a lot more interesting because I know a little bit of Core Owls, but I guess I hand this up to Ernie. Like, I think you know more about the Core Owls than I do, right? So you could probably explain that. But
Well, I read the books, the comic books.
yeah, like I think I've seen some stuff, but like just looking at this trailer with like the story, it looks a lot more interesting to me than the Suicide Squad game because it's like, oh, you're just killing Justice League. I don't know how interesting of a story you can make that, no matter how fun the gameplay is. But this one, it's from looks of it, it's gonna be a co-op game. Don't know if it's gonna be like multiplayer co-op or couch co-op. And the four characters looks like you're going to be able to play is Nightwing, which he was the first Robin. You got Batgirl, which is Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's James Gordon's daughter. You got Red Hood, which he was Jason Todd. He was the Robin. He was the second Robin, but he died by Joker, and he got resurrected by the Lazarus Pit. Yeah, that's a whole thing. If you ever want to look that up, and he became Red Hood. And then the final Robin, I don't know if it's Tim Drake, but most recently the third Robin has been Damian Wayne, which is the love child between Bruce and Talia al Ghul. But
And
yeah.
it's Jason Todd. No, it's Tim Drake.
Oh, so it is Tim Drake. Okay, so Damian Wayne is not nowhere to be seen at the moment. If he, it depends on the story, but I know a little bit about the core values. It's like the whole DC, like the New 52 that's been going on for a bit. They kind of like reboot the universes because they also have like a multiverse stuff, and they were kind of rebooting some like older heroes and whatnot. And from what I looked up with like some a little bit of the core values stuff, it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so
the point of
so
it.
this game was announced in August 2020, so it's also been a year. And I think they did a thing where they did show gameplay. And I also think there was an issue where like they were saying like if we play the game and you want to be Red Hood and I want to be Red Hood, at first they were like, no, we can't do that. But then they changed it, so I think you can have four Red Hood running around.
Oh, that'd be kind of
So
cool.
yeah, so they did that, so that's fine. But yeah, the Court of Owls is a pretty cool story, if I remember correctly, because I read it years ago. The Court of Owls were again in the comic book. They were there before, like they let everything that the Bruce Wayne family did, like the Court of Owls allowed them to do it. They were behind. They were like the secret organization behind, the shadows controlling everything. And throughout history, they've been going around killing Waynes. So they were ready to kill Bruce Wayne, and then it's just a bunch of story, and then like they capture him and they drive him crazy, and it's a really cool arc. Like Batman goes bananas, he goes freaking bananas. It's amazing. It's a great arc. So I'm interested to see how they do this. I don't know if they showed us in the trailer, but they showed in the other trailer where they show like a bunch of like coffins, and what's in the comic book within there is like these super soldiers that are kind of dead, but they're kind of reanimated, so you can't kill them. So that's when they show so many, you're like, damn, oh no, that's a lot. Because Batman dealt with one, and I, I, the Court of Owls, great story. Hopefully they tweak it and they make this a good story. Hopefully it has good gameplay because the source material is fantastic. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I was gonna say like this is the first time I guess out of comic books that the core owls are being referenced, right?
I
As
think
far
so.
as I
Yes.
know, because I've seen a little bit of shows and stuff from like like HBO Max app with all like the DC stuff. I don't think they've ever talked about the core of owls before. I don't think, or maybe when Gotham was on the CW, they might have talked about the core of owls. Now that I think about it,
Well, the
like
Court of Owls was
I'm
when
gonna quickly look this up. Oh yeah. So after looking up, I don't see anything. I could have sworn they were referenced with that series, but I could be wrong. But I couldn't find nothing. So oh well.
Well, a shame, but I mean, hey, this game again just looks cool. In my opinion, not as cool as Suicide Squad, but DC fans be happy. There's a bunch of other things that were announced. They showed a Flash trailer, Black Adam, all these cool things. I'm very happy for you guys. Genuinely, I know that's hard to believe right now, but
I
with
like
that,
you can like both Marvel and DC. It's all good.
yeah,
Don't
but I
make
don't. I'll also, if I'm being honest, at the same time, I don't much care for DC. I'm just glad they get stuff though. Comic books
fair.
are cool. And the Avengers cross JLA comic series, 4-part series, really cool. Read it if you have the time. I think it's a really neat crossover. But anyway, moving on from all this DC stuff, just a small update here for Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Reminder that comes out March 23rd or 25th, I forget, but like soon,
25th.
like 4 months soon. They reveal two classes, and I'm just gonna talk about them in order. Stablemancer, really cool. So the idea is that you summon this giant knife, and if you have the time, go watch the trailer for it. But you summon this giant knife, and it spins and kills, and it takes a more stealth approach, which is already crazy in Borderlands, because like Borderlands is not a game meant to be taken stealthily. But the idea is that like it turns you invisible and you can hit people from behind, and it's a very, very interesting approach to a Borderlands game.
I mean, you could
And
kind of do that when you played Zero in like what?
no, no, you were not being stealthy. You were just going invisible. There's a difference.
Oh, I guess yeah.
You were not. No, I could tell you as a man who played Borderlands 2 a lot, you were not being stealthy.
Well, you got like bonuses for like being invisible if you do a headshot, right? You do like bonus damage and whatnot.
Yeah, but you were not being stealthy. You were
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
you're stealthy for that first kill, and then they're alert, and then you have to go guns blazing.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's fair. Never
That's not
mind.
stealthy. It's
yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
they
stealthy
they
for
they
one
they
shot.
talked about, and I've read in a bunch of articles that like the idea is that it is actually just a whole stealthy beneficial. Like you do like a quiet takedown, and like it's supposed to help you, which is fine for single player. I think in multiplayer it won't function that well, but as many as there are multiplayer, like co-op players, there's a lot of single player players too. So that's a whole new way to play the game. And the other class, and remember, you can cross class. So I think you can, in a way, work these two together. The other class is the Berserker. Get it, like shivering, like brr. Um, and literally, you just have an axe. You have an ice axe, and I already like this one because you have a move that's they called in that they themselves refer to as spin to win, where you just like pull out your axe and you just start
The win,
spinning around. And
baby.
so I'm glad to see that melee is going to have a big function in a shooter game, which I know sounds weird, but the thing with Borderlands is that sometimes you get burnt out because you've done it once, you'll do it again, and that's its inherent problem. But they're still fun. So having these two new classes are really fun, and they've also revealed 4 new locales. I accidentally closed the tab, so I'm just gonna try to recite them from memory. But one of them is confirmed to be Butt Stallion's castle, and there's like one in a green jungle and one in like Dwarven Mountain. So the idea of D&D kind of based in locales, and I'm excited. The more I hear about this game, the more excited I am. So if you recall back to the first episode where I didn't sound so sure, don't worry, I sound a lot more sure now. But I don't know what either of you think of the classes or the new locales.
Uh, I like this being like a berserker class, so the berserker looks pretty fun to me. Although the style master being sneaky, I sometimes like to go sneaky in games. Depends on the games, like Deus Ex, for example. But I think most of the time I just prefer just to go in brawling. So um, I'm glad that this so far what they're showing gameplay wise, it's more varied than just you shoot. It's
Yeah.
more interesting abilities in this game, which I think is pretty good. This is pretty good advancement of Borderlands overall. So I'm pretty excited actually.
Yeah, and I pulled the tab back up. So this is from PC Gamer, written by Sean Prescott. Tiny Tina's Wonderland info drop includes a place called Butt Stallion's Castle, and then there was the stuff about the classes. And this is I'm just gonna read pretty much the last paragraph. Gearbox also listed 4 of the environments you will explore in Tiny Tina's. Bright Hoof is a weird word. Brighthoof is the castle-themed capital city of Wonderlands. The larger world is itself home to Bud Stallion Castle, a castle belonging to Bud Stallion. While Sungfang, God, I can't read today. You guys literally let me do this all the time.
Yeah.
While Sunfang Oasis is a that's not a word, paradisiacal paradise. Thank you. Paradisiacal leafy retreat in the middle of a blazing desert. Tangle Drift is an airborne kingdom suspended on giant beanstalks. All are dangerous, of course, this being a violent shooter. So if you were curious about the types of locales, they're going to be varied as they always are. They're going to be very D&D fantasy based. I'm excited. I want this game to come out 25th. Couldn't of March itself. Could not come sooner. But with that, unless Ernie, you have a comment to add.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this game. I'm gonna play this game, but like, this is weird. Like, I don't know how this is gonna play. I'm interested. I'm gonna get it, but like when you start talking about like different classes, which I guess Borderlands are classes, and like stealth mechanics, is like, is this my Borderlands?
Well, no, it's your Wonderlands. Get
Yeah, I
it?
guess fair enough. So, but I don't know. I'm in. I'm fully in, but I hope this meshes well and it doesn't just create a weird mess of a game.
Well, fret not. You got four more classes. They did say six like full dedicated classes, and then there's all the like the subclass stuff that I'm sure they'll reveal more later. So if Berserker or Stablemancer is not your thing, which again you should watch the trailer, but the Stablemancer is cool because you summon this giant knife, like no kidding, giant like dual
I
bladed
thought I
knife.
thought the Berserker was literally cooler.
I hate you. Uh, this giant cool knife where like it spins like a ceiling fan and just like kills anything in it like that walks through it is on
But
it,
Martin, it's not
etc.
a cool knife; it's a ghost knife.
No, it's not. It's a Stablemancer. It's a magic knife. It's not a necromancer. I'm thinking like, oh, I guess that is. I was thinking like geomancer for some reason, like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
elemental knife?
It's like a shadow knife. That's all. That's all I know. It's just a. Which, by the way, they've already done the Mancer thing, but I guess Necromancer, Stablemancer, whatever. I'm not gonna dwell on that. Just Tiny Tina's Wonderland, really cool. Good stuff. Keep it up. They could mess it up, but keep it up, man. Uh, moving on to what I consider the large news of this evening, and we'll just start it off with probably one of the more. I'll just go ahead and say it. God of War is coming to PC, and
Og,
with that, I'll this opens up a conversation. First of all, real neat that it's coming to PC. Don't get me wrong.
the
I'm sure
mods.
it's gonna run like a dream on there. There will be mods too. I did not even think about that. But
Yeah.
this guy pretty much summarizes it well. Again, on PC Gamer, I won't read it because it's a lot of just personal feeling. But by Rich Stanton, he says Kratos, Sony's Mario, and the arrival of PlayStation's greatest exclusive on PC is a watershed moment. And he goes on to talk about Kratos, how he watched it, how Kratos became like how Kratos is to PlayStation, Master Chief is to Xbox, Mario's to Nintendo. He feels Kratos is very much that. However, he said it coming to PC kind of changes how the industry shows how the industry is molding, so to say. How the industry still has exclusives, which I, me personally, I think exclusives are great because they create competition for people to make better games. But that's its own conversation.
Okay.
However, this guy goes on to say that exclusive are still a thing, but instead of being solely exclusive, they're more like timed exclusives, where like for this time, this game will be here. But after a certain amount of time, that developer or whatever goes, well, I can make the same thing on another console because technology just functions better. I could put it on PC because PC gaming's way bigger than it was a decade ago. And what's holding me back? And the only thing really is a timed exclusive because Sony had a contract or Xbox or somebody had a contract, and Nintendo's gonna be Nintendo. They're always just gonna do that. But what do you guys have to say about that? About consoles being or exclusives being like timed to a console instead of just being straight up only that console?
I think it's pretty good. You know, if a game is good, I want more people to play it. That's why whenever I'm like, another reason why I guess we'll talk about this here in a bit. It's like Bloodborne. That's literally the only Sony game that it's not coming to PC yet, which I want a lot of people to experience it because it's really good. But God of War, it's going to be amazing. Plus, because it honestly ran pretty well, like me personally, like on my PS4 and on my PS5, it runs like a dream as well. But playing on PC is just nice. I've been playing on PC more lately these days, and my console, so be pretty nice. And I want to experience all those cool mods.
Ernie, what do you have to say?
So I I think it's cool that it's coming to PC. If you have a massive gaming PC, it's just going to run a lot better, a lot smoother. I think they said 4K. They said unlocked frame rates, which is all fantastic stuff to hear. But I was listening to another podcast, Game Scoop, and Tina Amini said something that blew my mind. Like, the Steam Deck is becoming like the greatest handheld. You're going to literally be able to play everything.
Oh, I didn't even think about the Steam Deck. I completely forgot.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to play God of War, Halo, everything on that little Steam Deck. Which I thought it just kind of blew my mind for a second. I was like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing." Suck it, Switch.
I'm gonna this is gonna be a new like segment or whatever. I'm gonna be like quote. This is gonna be a quote Ernie moment
So
where
good
give it like a
Switch.
year where this is gonna age really badly, like not so fine wine. Because reminder, you bought a Vita, and
Yeah.
and look at how that went.
Here's the
Hey,
thing. Here's the thing though. Valve actually makes good hardware.
no, they
Uh,
don't. They
no,
don't.
no, they don't. This is their first.
No,
You want to?
oh wait,
You know what? We'll edit that in post. Don't worry. We'll make you less.
wait. No, the
The controller was awful.
no,
That
no.
that
What's their
Raspberry
VR
Pi
headset? The
was
Valve
awful.
Index. Valve Index. Recently.
That is the most expensive headset. It is the best way to play that game, but it is the most expensive. It's like
It,
900 bucks.
yeah, it's the most expensive currently, but isn't it the best headset technically?
Sure, in terms of like like what it does, but like for bang for your buck, I don't know. 900's a lot, man.
I
think
mean,
it,
if
it tracks your fingers. That's why it tracks your fingers, not just your hands. I think.
yeah, because you can do like more intricate stuff like with it. But I mean, I guess yeah, this is their first handheld, but I have faith in Valve. They're doing so.
Telling you right now, Marty. I'm telling you right now, the Steam Deck is gonna play all the
I
exclusives.
mean, the only
Like
thing that has disappointed Valve is when they tried to launch Artifact, but let's not talk about that.
a year from now, October 22nd, let's like have a look back and like talk about this and see how great. Because I'm not I'm not being a negative Nancy entirely. I am being I guess a little doubtful, but it's just that I'm afraid like it'll overheat. There will be a lot of technical issues, and those will have to take a little bit to iron out.
I'm pretty sure there have been some place or like Valve has said like, oh, they kind of have fixed like the whole like like joystick Joy-Con drifts like thing like what the Switch has currently, which
Well,
I'm not sold on that. But if
well,
they're like, oh, we're working on it, they at least have it in mind. So
we will see. Reminder:
yeah,
Joy-Con drift was not an issue until like a year after when it became apparent. Because to
yeah.
be fair, no one owned the Switch for a year to be able to tell you that it happened.
I guess compare this to the Vita. The Vita was like only like what PlayStation exclusives mostly, but the Steam Deck, it's anything on Steam which you can download. Which there's a lot more. You got a lot more bigger variety than compared to like the Vita. So at least has that going for it.
I do think this
As
will
as a
be
PSP owner and a Vita owner, it played Persona 4 Golden, so worth it.
that's
Yeah,
it.
but
That's
now you can
all I
play on
play.
Steam on your Steam Deck
Yeah,
because it's on
yeah.
Steam.
So what? It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, I can play on Steam Deck. I don't own it yet, but why would I have
Yeah,
it on the Vita?
fair.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I launched it on Steam and like played the first hour. Visually, it's a blessing. It really is to play P4G on PC. In fact, I wanted to go back and do a different ending just because I love that game. But you know what? Maybe we'll in that special episode. You know what? This is a ding. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. God of War on PC. I think it's great. Uh, However, I am just a little scared in terms of the exclusivity market because I want developers to like try to compete to be like, come buy our game that's on this console.
I
All
feel
in all,
like
it's a great thing for the community. I'm just afraid that the development, developers, companies, all that will get a little complacent about it.
well, I feel like these days it's not just about first party exclusive. It is also about like the hardware that they're bringing for like your bang for your buck. Like we said.
It is, but like,
Yeah.
really, there's no large discernible difference between PS5 and
Yeah,
Xbox.
I mean, compared like back in the day, like with what PS2s or your Xbox or like
Eh,
PS3s and Xbox 360s. Back then, it's like just get PC. Well, you got your exclusives, but PC was obviously way better hardware.
yeah,
Now
but it was
consoles
also
are
like,
getting to that level somewhat to PCs, so they can you know kind of compete price wise, whatnot.
yes, but no. PC will always be a step ahead just by its
Yeah,
nature. It's just that again, there's no back then you could tell that a 360 just ran stuff better than a
yeah.
PS3. It just
I,
did.
although
Uh,
one thing I'm curious about the Steam Deck, can it use mods? That would be a game changer.
Maybe I don't think
I
it'll be
ass-
available from the get go.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see on that. So,
I'm no console designer or anything, but I feel like I don't know. Steam Deck is gonna look cool.
oh, and
Uh,
I would also be remiss if I didn't say, ever since God of War being announced coming to PC, a lot of people are talking about Bloodborne, like which I talked about earlier, and I'm seeing more of those rumors pop up, like places like, oh yeah, Blue Point's making a second Bloodborne, and they are basically, I think, have the Bloodborne remaster almost ready, or it's about to be ready.
I
So
then
it's a again
Rumors.
rumor. It's rumor. Take it with a grain of
segue.
salt.
We're not. We're. I don't feel like we should talk about this because we kind of have a whole episode dedicated to it. Not a whole episode, but yeah, Bloodborne's the one PlayStation exclusive not brought over to PC, and there's
It's
probably a
bullshit.
reason. I'm sure there's some licensing reason, or they're waiting for two. Um, Again, I don't believe rumors, and we'll talk
Yeah,
about that later for a certain reason. However,
I hope it happens.
continue playing it on your PS4 and PS5. It's on there. I know a lot of you listening are PlayStation owners. I think I'm pretty sure. Anyone know what the sales are for PS5 versus Xbox Series S is? X?
I
What's it called
I'm
again?
I have no clue, but I think I saw somewhere that the PS5 has outsold the Switch. It's like,
No.
I don't
uh,
Maybe for a
know.
month, but not a lifetime.
let's see.
Nintendo consoles will almost always outsell it just by their nature of family. It's fun for everyone.
Fun for the whole family.
Hmm. But anyway, are we ready to move on to the next topic, gentlemen?
I'm ready.
All right. I know George is looking it up. He really doesn't. George, you do not
Uh,
need to.
I'm just curious. The PS5 is the fastest selling PlayStation with 10 million consoles sold so far, and Nintendo has managed to sell 89 million Switches. And
Mhm.
this is from The Verge. Uh,
Nice.
Nintendo had a 33 month consecutive streak in the US, and the PS5 is the first console to outsell the Nintendo Switch in nearly 3 years. Which is weird because PS5's hard to get. I mean, I got mine pretty early, and I got my brother one easily, but I've heard a lot of people had difficulties getting one, so I'm actually surprised by this fact.
Sure. Anyway,
Anyway,
moving on. Have any of you listening ever heard of a little series called Splinter Cell? There's maybe a chance you have, maybe a chance you hasn't. It's like a 20-year-old series, and I'm just gonna read from Polygon here. Written by Owen Good. That's kind of last. It's a just general last name, but Good is a good name. Get it? Anyway, new Splinter Cell reportedly in development. Is Ubisoft finally listening to Tom Clancy fans? And I'll just go ahead and cut up ahead. Video Games Chronicle sourced its report to two unnamed persons with knowledge of Ubisoft plans. Lead development on the Splinter Cell game is being handled by a studio other than Ubisoft Montreal, which developed the first of 7 games in the nearly 20-year-old series, and three of the others. Which, by the way, I didn't know there were like 7 games. I thought there was only
Yep.
like three.
Nope.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
Splinter Cell is the kind of long running.
but again, I didn't find this out until earlier when I read it. Ubisoft Toronto handled the most recent 2013's Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist for PS3, Wii U, remember that console, Windows, PC, and 360. And that was the last one that came out was 8 years ago. We're coming up on nearly 9, and it is said that in oh wait, I read the wrong part there. There is a small chance the Splinter Cell game would be announced next year, VGC said. Polygon has reached out to a Ubisoft representative for comment. So far, no comment. But the rumor so far is that next year, maybe probably E3, I guess if at any time, maybe games. I don't know what other big conventions are there that they could announce
Uh,
this at.
Tokyo Game Show, but
Yeah.
I highly
What?
doubt
Well,
then
I don't think
maybe
Ubisoft
CES.
would announce this at
Yeah,
Tokyo Game
exactly.
Show.
That's why maybe not, probably not.
I doubt
Maybe
if
CES, but also
the
highly
Game
doubt.
Awards is possible. They always announce stuff on it
You know what?
coming up,
Yeah, either
but
Game Awards or E3.
yeah, but yeah. So it big rumor, and I know a lot of rumors lately. But for all you fans of Splinter Cell, that's great. I will say that I wanted to play this, but I never could because I didn't have money, and I just
Um,
know that there's another one of those Tom Clancy games that slapped on at least half of Ubisoft's,
yeah,
if not all of them. No, because they make Assassin's Creed. Still, half of their stuff comes from Tom
Tom
Clancy.
Clancy is in Assassin's Creed. What the? What
What?
do you mean by that? Like
You
you're saying
said
the
Tom
Tom Clancy.
Clancy is not Assassin's Creed. That's what you
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
said.
I thought you were saying like they put the name on it. I was confused there for a second.
yeah. Because I was gonna
But
say most,
fun
but
fact. Splinter Cell. I forgot his name. I'm blanking out, but he's an operator
Sam
in Rainbow Six
Fisher.
Siege. Yeah, he's an operator in Rainbow Six Siege. He's like a lot older. Fun fact.
huh?
That was fun.
That
Yeah.
was yeah, that was a
In
fun
case you've
fact.
never, in case you never played that game.
Nope, never have, never will.
Hey, don't you own it?
No,
Then I,
it's on my wish list. Unless you bought it for me and I never noticed, it's on my wish
It
list.
was like $2 like a month
I
ago.
was
I
gonna say
bought
like
it.
I thought you said you have it, and I was like, oh, maybe one day we'll play it.
I don't know. I think you're thinking about Terminator, who said he had it, or Leo.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I have it.
I
uh,
didn't buy it because I was like, who am I gonna play this with, and for how long?
there you go.
Oh, smallest violin, Marty.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like, all right, I'll just continue to play Apex, and so I do. But anyway, Splinter Cell. I don't know. It seems like a stealth game. That's all I know about him. But there's
Dude, it was Splinter Cell versus Metal Gear, the two stealth games going head to head. Which one was better?
I
Spoilers, it was Metal Gear.
was emphasis on was. I think they might have a chance now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess they got you there.
With the
that's
recent
true.
Metal Gear, there's a window, there's a gap, there's a
We
power
don't
level,
care.
Uh,
We don't
my
count Metal
my
Gear
last
Survive.
Metal Gear was 5. That was my last Metal Gear thing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that
Survive
came
doesn't
out
count.
5 years ago.
Yeah, but Metal Gear Survive doesn't count. It wasn't made by Kojima.
It has the name on it. Every video game series has a black sheep of some sort. Mario
Fair.
has Mario's Gone Missing and Mario Teaches a Type, both awful games. Marvel's Capcom has Infinite. Every game has its black sheep. I think we talked about this, but anyway, Splinter Cell. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that they were like a competing. I mean, I guess it makes sense looking at it, but I just figured that like they each had their own fan bases, one bigger than the other, and that was about it. I didn't know. Ernie, you were around when this game was more alive. Tell me more about that. I'm genuinely curious.
As someone who bought the original Xbox and played it as his main console, I had Splinter Cell and I enjoyed it. In fact, at the time, I enjoyed Splinter Cell more because I didn't have a PS2, so I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 2.
Funny enough, I had PS2. I did not have an Xbox,
I
so
had a PS2.
I never played Splinter Cell. But
I don't know why I
So,
had a PS2, but I
so
had one.
dude, I have so many feelings about this. One, why now? Everyone's asking why now. People have been asking for a Splinter Cell game for 9 years, 8 years, and Ubisoft has been like, no. Why? Why now? Well, I don't know about there's naysayers or Debbie Downers who think, you know, Ubisoft is having a bunch of legal trouble right now. A
yeah,
bunch,
that's what I was thinking.
a bunch of legal trouble, so they need a win. So they're just maybe just push one out. So what does that mean for Splinter Cell? Are they just going to put it in their generic meat grinder of games like the Tom Clancy, the Outlanders, and Wild whatever? Is it going to be one of those? Because that's not what that is. Unless they're going like the Metal Gear Solid 5 route, which it was an open world stealth game. But other than that, like Sam Fisher, Splinter Cell was get to point A, get to point B, silence. You have a gun, but you got 6 bullets, so you can't go around murdering people. You have to be stealth. It was stealth, hardcore stealth. There was no loud option, or at least when I played it. Maybe on the later ones it became loud options, but it was a stealth game. So what does that mean now for Ubisoft? I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. So I'm very skeptical. Why now? And I don't know. I really don't know.
I will say from someone who wanted to play as a kid, but first of all, I was a kid. Secondly, um, it just always looked interesting. Like it looked like a fun game. Like believe it or not, I used to like stealth games, stealth missions in general a lot back then.
Would you
More
say they
so.
went under your radar?
No,
I get it.
I thought they were like kind of fun for like certain games. There's like some missions in Call of Duty that would be stealth based, and I just thought like those segments were always neat. So Splinter Cell was like something that I saw and I was like, yeah, that'd be super neat to like do. And I don't know. It's funny that I never played Metal Gear Solid or this either, but
The only two that mattered.
there's stealth segments that like fill that void for me. I don't know if a whole game is what I want. I won't know till I play one or the other. But stealth missions and like Hat in Time and certain platforming games is fun. Those are always fun. They also can easily be the most frustrating depending on how like bull crap it is. So there's that. But yeah, Splinter Cell, another rumor I know, but these are exciting rumors at least for me. Bloodborne 2, another exciting rumor. What other rumors have we covered? I'm sure we've covered a few, but I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. Anyway, moving on to I think will be our final piece. I'm not missing anything, am I? I'm genuinely asking you to.
Hey,
Uh,
what I want to say about the whole rumor mill is Kojima's supposedly going to sign with Xbox pretty soon.
Good.
huh.
Xbox surprisingly has a good arsenal under their belt. They just like I don't feel like they utilize it enough. Like them having first of all, Minecraft is large, Halo, rare, Banjo, especially Banjo Kazooie, but they don't try with that one. But there's a
They
lot of Banjo fans.
yeah, I actually want Xbox to get more good first party titles out there because they don't got much compared to like Sony
But like
these
to get
days.
Hideo Kojima on board, that's another plus.
Yeah, I mean that is a plus, but yeah,
Yeah,
they need a bit more.
Xbox needs to be a little bit more I'll just say ballsy, like they used to be back then. They were way more confident with their Halos. They were way more confident with the stuff they had with their consoles. They used to exuberate a whole lot of energy. Yeah, I'm critiquing Microsoft right now, by the way. I know, come for me, but I feel like they just kind of shied away and they're like, yeah, we have a console, but like you don't have to. Like I feel like the best thing they've done is Game Pass, and that's about it. Gears of War,
Back.
Gears of War used to be popping.
I was gonna say like backwards compatibility. I think that's Xbox does a better job at that than Sony, and I wish Sony would instead
Yeah.
of like their subscription service, which is ass for
Yeah,
backwards stuff.
yeah.
I
But
really want it to be good.
that's my critique to you, Xbox. One longtime Xbox Microsoft fan. To you, I hope you're listening to this. Tom Kenny is not an Xbox person. He's a sponge. He's a voice actor for SpongeBob, but he's the first name that came to my head.
You tell them.
I don't remember Phil Spencer. There we
Yeah, I was
go.
gonna say, were you think
Uh,
of Phil Spencer?
yeah, but I was like Tom. My mind was like say Tom Kenny. I'm like no. Phil Spencer. I would also like call out Bill Gates, but like he doesn't care. He genuinely he's making money at the end of the day. But anyway, Apex season 11. That's right, 11. We've entered double digits, and that's amazing for me, an Apex player. And this game has been out for like 2.5 years. Apex is about to hit its 11th season. It's called officially titled Apex Legends Escape. They have a whole new map, which is the fourth map in the entirety of the game to come out. A new weapon, a fan favorite, and I say that here. Let me add more sarcasm. A fan favorite weapon coming out, and a new legend that fans of TF2 should be happy about. In fact, fans of TF2 should sort of be happy about this whole new season, and I'll explain why.
Real
Uh,
quick, Martin means Titanfall 2, not Team Fortress 2.
yeah,
Yeah, Team
Anytime you're
Fortress 2. Is the engineer coming out? The heavy guy.
yeah, he's
The
coming
heavy
out.
soldier.
Yeah. Soldier's been
Scout,
in the game for a long
Scout.
time. Yeah,
Scout.
the G7 Scout is in the game too. Yeah, Titanfall 2. TF2 is a game. I know it is, but it's not what I think about when I say the letters TF and the number 2. Respawn, and this is written by Dot Esports, and I'm gonna sort of paraphrase, but written by Adam Snavely. People have cool names. Anyway, Respawn is taking Apex and all of its legends to the beach. Make sure you pack your heat shields. In the launch trailer for Escape, we finally get to see some little confirmations of leaks and rumors, and there's been a lot of leaks. Like I almost thought about talking about the leaks and rumors, but then I was like, well, that's a lot of rumors. But I'll just say, from what I've seen, really cool looking stuff. If you haven't played Apex, you probably should in a week. And if you play Apex, play it a little bit more. Talking to you, George.
I got other games to play. I'll play it from time to time
Back
though.
for blood.
That's one game I gotta play
So
before.
this whole new map is going to be based on a beach. It's all beach. It's all tropical, which is already fun in of itself. I know
But
Fortnite
Martin, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
beaches are
I
not
get
just
it.
sand. Beaches are not just sand. That's just American beaches.
I'm just making a.
Yeah.
I was just making a Star
No,
Wars reference.
and I'm hitting you with the cold hard fact. This is how it feels like. Um, so no, funny joke aside, it's a whole new map. It takes place on beaches and stuff, palm trees and all that. It's really cool. The new weapon is the CAR SMG, the CAR, and if you're not familiar with that, being a non-Titanfall 2 fan, that in itself is a bit of a worry because every shooter has its weapon, like its weapon that is just sets the meta for that game. Not entirely like iconic, like the assault rifle might be for Halo, which ironically is like one of the worst games. But Halo 1 had the Needler. The Needler was really strong. Halo 2 had the battle rifle. I'm just listing Halo references. Pretty sure Modern Warfare 2 had like the AK-47 or something.
Uh, I think the ACR was pretty good because I used that a lot.
Well, there's always a
Oh,
gun that
the
like
dual, yeah, like dual wield, the Model 18, like the Model like lever action shotguns, dual.
the Model 1887.
Yeah, yeah, those are actually pretty good, surprisingly.
Yeah, there's always a weapon that is really good that the community starts to hate it. Like they just hate it, but there's nothing that the developers can or will do, and it just like is a hated weapon. The car SMG is literally that. It became that for Titanfall 2 fans, where like to the point that to this day still, because I remember I played like a couple Titanfall 2 matches just to like have some nostalgia not too long ago, even with George. I was using the car because it was just a fun weapon to me. I didn't really consider it, and someone was like, "Wow, what a crutch you're using." I'm like, people still get mad in this game, like this dead game. So for Apex fans, if you don't understand, like people may or may not like you just day one using this weapon. That's how much this weapon breeds hate still to this day. Um, Moving on, Ash is another fan favorite character. Yeah, fan favorite character, and has been reoccurring in terms of Apex lore because she's been coming back. And spoiler for Titanfall 2, because I guess we're gonna do that for the campaign. She died, but she didn't. Oh, wow.
What?
But,
Yeah,
but she's a robot, so
she's she's a
it's whatever.
simulacrum. But like before Apex, the lore was like they just died, but in Apex, they revealed they're like, oh well, they actually keep their like data code somewhere, and so you can restore their bodies. So that's what happened. But I remember in Titanfall 2, you have this cool execution with her in the campaign where you reach into her cockpit, pull her out, and then you just like crush her. And I was like, wow, that was brutal. And then they like kind of
Would you
retconned. They were like,
say she suffered the crushing defeat?
no,
I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
think so.
See, no,
I'm gonna edit so many crickets.
thank you. See,
No, applause. I demand
uh,
applause.
that's why I go silent after. um, So they retconned it that pieces of her survived. I remember in season 5 they had this big story thing where you rebuild her, and then from season 9, which is not that long ago, really, they made it that she's the head of the arenas game mode. The arenas game mode, for those who don't know, is if you hate battle royales, I don't know why you're playing Apex, but if you just want to break or hate battle royales, you can do this 3v3 arena mode where it's just team deathmatch. And she was in charge of that. And for Ash, for a host of a game mode to just come forward and be like, "Yeah, I'm playable now," is really really cool. And again, if you're a Titanfall fan, super cool because she just is. She comes straight from Titanfall. She's not even like a teaser like Valkyrie or like Valkyrie was like the daughter of a character. She's straight
The
up from Titanfall.
Lord.
Yeah. So again, I'm a big lore fiend, and for all that battle royales are, Apex gives the most lore. Because in Fortnite, you're just a goofy dude.
I
Ask
actually Fortnite has a pretty big lore apparently, but I don't follow it. Maybe
I
because my
wouldn't
little
say
brother.
big. I know a little bit. Just like you're fighting the Nexus all the time, and also Master Chief and Wolverine are here. Like
Oh,
that's
speaking
how
of, I
that's how it goes half the time. It's just like,
uh,
hey, you're fighting this weird dark Nexus. Also, like you could beat Naruto. I'm like,
I
all right,
actually, since we were talking about Batman earlier, really quick, they have a Batman Who Laughs like costume in Fortnite, which I saw. I thought that was cool.
nice.
Anyway,
But Ash has this like weird taser ability. She has a really strong ability that may make Wraith obsolete because she can make a portal. And this is again through leaks and rumors, half of it, but half of it was confirmed with this trailer, where she makes a portal with her sword and like goes through it and comes out another end like quite instantly. And it's rumored that she could do that through buildings, like through walls.
huh?
So I know for Ernie this means almost practically nothing. Ernie, I don't know why you haven't downloaded this
I
game. By the
mean,
way, I've told you.
I downloaded
what
several times.
I mean, if Ash has an ability similar to Wraith, where she can become invulnerable for a bit, and and it can run away, then I guess she would technically be a better wraith.
Well, like here's the interesting thing. Some people are saying part of her kit is that like she can kill a body and it'll reveal like where that dead person's teammates might potentially be, like in a recon fashion.
Oh, so kind of like Calvera in Siege, because in Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, Calvera, when she downs a player, she'll execute them, and then you go over to them, you interrogate them, which means as soon as you execute them, you can like reveal the position of like the enemy team for a short bit.
Well,
What
I
kind of
didn't.
necromancy is that shit? She's interrogating a corpse?
No, no, no.
Sure.
She's like a like officer, like Rainbow Six Siege is
Yeah,
just
you
like.
said you execute them and then you interrogate them. So they're
Well, no,
dead and then
she's interrogating them, and then she gets info, and then she stabs them in the neck.
oh,
Jesus.
okay.
Well, it's
Because the
sort of
order matters.
yeah.
I don't know. I think that was
All
accurate.
right. Now that you're dead, where's your friends?
Yeah, where are they? Where are they?
Just slapping the ghost of your player, like where the fuck are they?
That's
They're like
so
they're over
funny.
there.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Ash does something like that. It's no stranger that recently a lot of legends that have come out have been super duper strong, like kind of game breaking.
Fear,
So like
cough, cough.
yes, Seer, Horizon, what's funny is that Valk, all the developers were saying she was gonna be really strong, and then she came out like she was okay, and now recently she became meta. So that one's a bit ironic.
Marty, question.
hmm
When these boys come out, are they free or do you have to unlock them or buy them?
You have to unlock them. At least you don't have to spend money. And if you're like me, who's level 500, and last I checked, I have like 3
You get
million tokens, and these legends cost 12K a piece. Um, you really never have to spend money buying these guys.
Yeah, like if you play the game a decent amount or a lot, you can eventually unlock them.
Mm.
Or you just spend like actual in-game money, you can unlock them instantly when they come out.
And again, I'm one of the more crazier that like plays a lot, and I have 3 million when it only takes 12K. So if you just like play a decent amount of time, you can unlock these pretty normal. If you've been playing since day one, like 1 day a week, you have enough for like at least the next 10 to 20 legends. I'm doing like quick math, but
Quick
you know,
maths.
if you 52 weeks, multiply it by like, well, I'm gonna say 20, like 6,000 to 4,000 tokens. Yeah, you
Carry
can
the one.
yeah, you'll build up. So these, at least it's not. I don't think there's any game that truly charges you, but like League, that currency comes very sparingly unless you hard grind it. I can't speak for Siege. Smite's like another one where like you have to either hard grind or
Hard,
you have to pay money.
yeah, you can play that game a lot as well with in-game currency or buy. Siege is same way. You play the game a lot, you can eventually unlock the operators that you want, or spend money to
Yeah,
unlock them.
but like Apex is the most generous. Like I to the point that I even told George, like George, you don't need to buy because he did the thing where he unlocked like most of the legends like for $10-$20 or
Well,
whatever.
I was coming from console. I had them all unlocked on console, or up until I played at that point. When I came to PC, I was like, I don't want to unlock these again, so I just
I guess
did
that's
that.
fair, but like,
Plus, I like to play a lot of games, and I don't always have the time to play Apex. So for me personally, I got like my disposable income. That's how I like some other people.
I guess
Get
that's
it,
fair.
boy.
For me, it was just like, I have only spent money one time. I bought like $60 worth of Apex coins, and I've been self sustaining via battle passes and events, and like have unlocked stuff that I wanted, have bought stuff that I wanted, like crafting medals or Apex coins or legend tokens, and I paid
Yeah,
$60 one time.
yeah, like it rewards you for playing the game a lot, just like any of those other games. It rewards you for playing their game a lot.
Yeah. Well,
And if you
again,
don't
just
play as much,
just a
yeah,
moderate amount of time, you can unlock legends easy.
yeah, true.
The events are a grind. I'll admit that. Like you have to be playing for sure during the events. But if you just put 1 day, 2 days a week, and like few hours, you'll be fine. You will be fine playing the characters you want to play. But with that, I have to say, season 11's fun. I only have one question to you guys. When you guys think battle royale, and this is how I used to think, it was usually just like one map that dynamically changes, sometimes get rearranged and restructured. Fortnite, almost every like story pass that comes around because the way they started doing their battle passes, they do a couple battle passes and then they reset and then like go back to one, but this is story two or whatever. So they call it like 2-1, 2-2, 3-4. You get it?
Yeah, I don't know what season they're on. They have they go through seasons really fast.
They're far. All I have to ask is like, what do you guys think of there being what is now going to be a fourth map in rotation? Like
Uh,
at
as
one point,
long
and not to mention 19th legend in the game.
actually doesn't even feel like there's that many. It still feels like pretty small compared to like
Well,
other
like to
games.
be fair, half of them are good and the other half are meh.
Yeah. Uh, as long as it's better than Olympus, that's all I care about.
There's
'Cause
that,
Olympus sucks. They gotta really redesign that map, dude. You
but
shoot once and four different teams come in every direction
and it's not
shooting
even the
you.
fact that four different teams come. It's the fact that four different teams come and there's like no good cover because it's such an open map.
Yeah, unless you're playing like a Gibraltar or something that defensive, but then you're there for a bit, then all those teams just come at you for some reason, and then they start shooting at each other.
Because in Kings Canyon, like it happens, but there's a lot of cover in between at least.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the topic. Um, I even said earlier that like I wouldn't have minded if we didn't get a new map if we just redid all of Olympus. Like, because now there's four maps and Olympus is in rotation. But back to just numbers, Ernie, what do you think? Because again, Warzone, they just usually have one map, but there's one that has four maps, and they're pretty large by ratios standing.
I think it's great that they keep supporting the game, adding heroes, adding new maps. Yeah, some are going to hit, some aren't, but the fact that they just continue to support it, dude, I think it's rad.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for those who don't know, it was reported that I don't know if it was Apex alone, but at least like EA and like its subsidiaries in terms of like the video game, which is pretty much most of what is like they made 1.1 billion, and a large portion of that, if not most of it, was from Apex.
I think
Because
like the other half probably came from FIFA because I know FIFA makes them a lot of money.
yeah,
Mhm.
so clearly they have money to keep making this. I just like you see memes, but like some people say like when at what point do we stop making legends? Because the developers have said like we plan to keep making them. I'm like that's cool. More stuff is always
Uh,
interesting, but at one point, because Apex derives on a character driven like gameplay.
I,
It's not like Fortnite where like you're all the same. You just have skins. Your
yeah,
characters matter. And at what
I
point do we
guess
like look like a Smash roster? We're already past 64 numbers. We're
I
not that
guess
far from
I
Melee.
guess a good comparison was like with certain MOBAs, like with League or Smite, they keep adding like gods and Smite or what are they called in the League, champions or
Champions, I think.
yeah. So as long as the game is doing well, they're gonna keep adding more and more. But that's like a steep learning curve eventually, where it's like it's gonna be overwhelming for new players. So they're gonna have to do like a lot of like look up and research if they want to be decent at the game,
And,
or just have
and
to play the game a lot.
and Ash is slightly scary on the point that like she has a similar ult to Wraith, the portal thing.
Yeah.
Like that.
Hold on. Is that confirmed or is that rumored?
That
Uh, it's a leak, and in the trailer you
it's a
do
leak.
see her
In the trailer,
do
she uses
the portal. It's not gameplay, but they like to like show off stuff they can
it.
do in
The
like
In
those
the
game.
cinematic, yeah.
the
Yeah,
spoiler warning. This was one of the leaks I accidentally saw because like a video started playing on Reddit. She does in fact have like a teleport. I don't know if it works through buildings. It was just like on a plain view where like it like boom ultimate boom and you teleport and it looks like a single man teleport. So that's the difference with Wraith. To be fair though, Wraith's teleport isn't used like the way it used to be where you teleport your whole team. It used to be good for repositioning. Now you don't use that for Wraith anymore because they shorten the distance a lot. You use it to kidnap people to bring them to your team so you can then kill them, get an easy kill. And that's the idea of what they're doing with the Ash with her ult. They're like, yeah, it's a single man teleport, but apparently, ideally, this is the part that's like rumored because I didn't watch anymore. You can pull someone through it. So is it just a faster, better Wraith portal? Because Wraith has evolved to just be a kidnapping ult character that like is really good for skirmishes and getting out of fights.
hmm.
Does that make sense? So like the power creep is inevitable when you keep adding legends. There will just be legends who will come along and do a certain job better. But I was thinking up until now that Apex has done a good job of just having a character be mostly unique. Even Seer's like almost Bloodhound level, but Bloodhound is a for sure scan, while Seer is like a skill shot, and that's still
Yeah,
interesting enough. But Ash is the first character that just like tells me like, she's like a better version of this character. Because Wraith has the weird passive, like where if you aim at Wraith, there's a voice that tells her that she's being aimed at, so she can notify her team. If it's true what Ash can do, and she can use a dead person's body to like locate their teammates if they're nearby, is just better than what Wraith has.
anytime in battle royales or any shooter games, if there's the ability that lets you either track the enemy team or even let you see where their positions are, that's information is very, very strong in those types of games. Some people may not think so, but the reality is those abilities are game breaking. Like they are really strong.
Yep. So I present that question. Uh, I want to hear your guys' answer of just like, do you think there will ever be a limit? It's similar to the map question, but this time just now on legends and weapons, because
I
they've
guess
also done a good job of releasing a new weapon almost every season except for season 8. And COVID was a thing, and they had to make a new map, so it
Yeah.
was a
We don't talk about season 8.
so
uh I guess I'll go first real quick. I guess they'll have to see if they make legends unique. I guess if they can't think of a good idea, they might hold off for a bit. As long as they keep making unique legends and making them all. I don't want to say better versions, or at least make them I guess viable. Even if some of them may not be best. Like obviously there are some legends that are way better than others, but there's still some viability. Like, oh, you can still play this legend. You know.
yeah.
Like I said, depends if they can make each legend interesting, a bit unique, and as long as people keep playing the game, I guess they'll keep making legends.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I didn't really think about it of like a whole community standpoint. But what do you have to say, Ernie?
Yeah, I don't think they should stop making special heroes or whatever they're called. Sorry, I played the game when it launched and I haven't played it recently. But like I remember when I played it, there was what 12,
Eight.
There was
8.
six
Yeah,
free, and you had to unlock the other two.
yeah, and when you all right, there's 100 people on the map and you see like 40 robot people, you're like, well, the immersion's broken a little bit. So if they keep making heroes, and I agree, they have to be unique. They just can't be carbon copies of other heroes. They have to be unique with their own powers, which is going to be very difficult. But when you start to see, oh, there's only half the team left, and I haven't hit a duplicate, that's pretty impressive, and I think that's way more immersive than seeing the same hero everywhere.
Yeah,
Unless if you're doing ranked, you just see a Gibraltar in every team.
yeah, because
Well,
there will be your in your in
There's
your
meta. Yeah.
in your public. That's for sure. What's just going to be the case because people will play anything. When you play ranked, you see a lot of the same. So that immersion breaking's still there. However,
yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
I was just gonna say that's Respawn's job to fix that, to make other heroes better or nerf some heroes, and that's a balance they got to do. A
Which
game that I did play a lot that was MOBA was Heroes of the Storm, and that's something they constantly kept doing, where they kept nerfing heroes and buffing heroes, and it kind of mixed up the flow, because if they felt one hero was being overused, they would nerf it a little bit and bring
yeah.
them back, and then you'd have to learn somebody else.
Yeah, it's just the one problem is that the way they've determined their stats is that first of all, they don't look at the pro league and seeing what's picked there, which is I think shouldn't be the sole factor, but it's a big benefit because in the
It
pro
should
league,
be a factor.
all the teams had a Gibby. Every single team in the pro league had a Gibby, and those are like the best of the best in terms of like what they are. Um, that being said, they only look at the overall like player base in terms of like they don't look at ranked or anything. They just go, this legend's being picked the most, and they're like, well, yeah, in like public or whatever. And like, all right, well, nerf them. They're being picked too much. Like, no, that's not.
Yeah,
Some characters are just popular. Like,
like you said, like with Gibby and ranked, it's because Gibby is really good. But in like public lobbies, you don't see many Gibbies because people don't like being a
yeah,
tanky or
because
slow character. They want to pick more fun characters, I guess.
yeah, that's always a complaint that no one likes picking Gibby.
Although
But
I do, but I just like being tanks in general in games. But anyway,
not to veer off track. Season 11, fun. Um, play Apex. They don't need me to really advertise it, but uh, add me if you ever Maximus Space Marty on Steam. I'll play Apex with you. Season 11 is fun. I encourage George and Ernie to at least try it out with the new map. And I think it's time to hit send offs because we will hit that hour mark at some point in terms of like
Oh,
keeping it on.
we are well into the hour.
Yeah, we are. So,
What do you
but
mean? This is an hour podcast. We're always exactly an hour.
no, it
Um,
isn't.
I-
But to be fair, there was just a lot said this time around. But it's been me, your host, Marty. Always, it just always love talking for you guys, especially rambling. So I appreciate you. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. At least, actually, I think you could do that on Facebook too. Well, leave a like on Facebook. There's no subscribe. I'm thinking too much. It's been me, Marty, and I'm tired. George, go ahead.
Hello, tired. I'm Jorge, or George.
Nice. You're not a dad. You can't legally say that.
I'm an uncle. I think I qualify.
It checks
No,
out.
you can make uncle jokes like I don't know where you make. How does an uncle joke work, Ernie?
Don't know. I'm a dad.
All right. Well, you've been an uncle longer than you were a dad.
Yeah, but once you
Wait.
become a dad, you just forget everything.
Sure. All right. And lastly on our crew tonight.
Wait, George, did George say anything?
Huh?
Yeah, he said
Wait,
he's
what?
Jorge. He said
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Jorge over George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ernie, the dad. Thanks for listening. You're the best.
Mm-hmm. Till next time. Bye.